Have you ever wondered what composes car's engine? In this video, I'm going to show you the different car's engine component and what it does. We will see a different component per component and its function and what could result if one of component among others fail. What I require you is to stay and watch this video until on its end for better understanding, and make sure to make a subscribe, like and turn on bell notification if you like. So let's start. These are all components of car engine. Let's see one component per component and its function. Let's start with a cylinder head cover. This is a cylinder head cover. Its purpose is to see the cylinder head on the engine, and it is where the holes where the spark plug connectors are fitted. So its purpose in the engine is to see the cylinder head of an engine. That is its function in the engine. This is a cylinder head. The cylinder head is located between a cylinder head cover and the cylinder block. That is what you have to keep in mind. Cylinder head is located between a cylinder head cover and the cylinder block. Its purpose is to provide the mounting place of valves. It provides mounting place of the valves. This is where a valves of an engine is located, and this is where an coolant jacket or an oil gull for lubricating an engine component or cooling jacket for cooling an engine is also located. This is a cylinder head gasket. It is located between a cylinder head and a cylinder block. Its purpose is to seal the combustion chamber gas tight and to prevent coolant or an engine oil from escaping into the combustion chamber. In a failure with or a malfunctioning with a cylinder head gasket, this leads to an engine overheating and other engine faults or another possible problems such as excessive blue smoke. When there is a problem with cylinder head gasket, your engine will release an excessive blue smoke. So that is its purpose. It is in an engine for preventing an engine oil from escaping into the combustion chamber, and also to prevent an coolant from escaping into the combustion chamber also. So that is its purpose in the engine. So you have to check your cylinder head gasket and have it replaced regularly in order to prevent those engine systems fault. Those are its purpose of cylinder head gasket. This is a cylinder block, the middle parts of an engine. This is where a cylinder, pistons, connecting rods are mounted on the inside, and this is where a pin boss is located and a oil filter is located on a cylinder block. Also, an oil main feed and an oil pump is all of those components are mounted on a cylinder block. This is the middle part of an engine. This is where an piston moves inside of an engine. And any failure of this component leads to the excessive engine faults such as engine overheating, unusually an car engine noises, and unusually or an excessive smokes from the car and exhaust system. So you have to check your cylinder block regularly and by keeping it clean. This is an oil pan, the bottom part of an engine, and its purpose is to keep lubricating oil for lubricating moving parts of an engine, and it serves as an oil storage. This is an oil pan. What you have to keep in mind is that it keep or it store an oil required for an lubricating point in the internal combustion engine. This is a piston of an internal combustion engine, and it's located in a cylinder block, and it have many purposes in four-stroke engine such as it provides moving sea into the combustion chamber against a crankcase, against an oil pan, and it absorbs pressure gas generated during the combustion process and transmits those pressure force to the crankshaft via a connecting rod. It also dissipates excess heat produced during the combustion process, and it also controls gas exchange in a two-stroke engine, because you know that in a two-stroke engine you have no valves, so an intake and exhaust of air or an admitted air is controlled by an piston. That is what a piston does in an engine. This is a connecting rod. It's located in a cylinder block, and it's met with these functions in an engine, such as It is what connects a piston to the crankshaft. A connecting rod connects a piston to a crankshaft, and or you can say that the connection between a crankshaft and the piston is what we call a connecting rod. It also converts the reciprocating motion of piston into rotary motion of the crankshaft. It also transmits a piston force to the crankshaft. This is what generates, or this is what transfer a piston force to the crankshaft produced during a combustion process. This is a piston pin, or it also termed as an whisk pin. Its purpose is it allows a piston to swinging on the connecting rod. What allows a piston to swinging on the connecting rod is what we call a whisk pin or piston pin. As you see, this is a piston and connecting rod with the piston pin together, and those are different components of that components. These are a piston, a connecting rod, which are together, and there's different parts of a connecting rod and the different parts of a piston, such as piston head, oil rings. This is where an oil ring are fitted on the piston head, and a piston is cut. As the bottom part of the piston, a connecting rod bolts, a connecting rod pinion, and guardian pin, which allows a piston to swing on the connecting rod. These are different parts of the pistons and the connecting rod in the engine. As you see, these are the different components of the pistons and the connecting rod. I think that is on the pistons and the connecting rod. Let's jump on an engine valves. We have two types of valves in an internal combustion engine. We have what we call intake valve and exhaust valve. An intake valve, it allows the fresh air to be admitted into the engine, and an exhaust valve allows burnt gases to be set out of an engine. In next videos, I will explain you why some engines have more than one intake valves and have more than one exhaust valves. What you have to keep in mind is that an intake valve has head. The head of an intake valve is wider compared to the head of an exhaust valve. This is because due to getting too much unadmitted air, an intake valve has to have wider head diameter in order to admitting too much fresh air in the engine, in order to boost an engine torque. As you know, the more fresh air being admitted into the engine, the more engine torque will be delivered to the driver wheels through the transmission system of an engine. This is one of the methods of boosting an engine torque. These are valve springs and what we call valve retainer and valve locks. Its purpose is to fit an valve inside the cylinder head to tighten it firmly, and the purpose of the valve spring is to close inlet valves and exhaust valves. As you know, an engine valves are opened by the camshaft and closed by the valve spring. Hear it well. The valves are opened by the camshaft and they are closed by the valve spring. You don't have to confuse the purpose of the valve spring and purpose of the camshaft. That is on the valves. This is a camshaft and it is located on the cylinder head on the top of an engine. As you see, or as you know, the purpose of the camshaft in an engine is therefore opening the valves. The camshaft is what opening the valves via a belt which is coming from an crankshaft. That is what a camshaft does on an engine, and this is what we call a camshaft pulley, which is therefore driving an camshaft via a two-fed belt which is coming from an crankshaft. And a camshaft pulley is therefore driving a camshaft via a two-fed belt by getting a motion from the crankshaft. That is what a camshaft pulley does in the engine. This is a camshaft belt and it is called a two-fed belt because, as you are seeing, it has a teeth on its inner inside, and it gets a motion from the crankshaft and transfer it to the camshaft pulley in order to rotate a camshaft. As the camshaft rotate, this will cause an engine valves, which are inlet valve and exhaust valve, to be opened. So that is how a camshaft open and closing a valves of an engine. That is on the camshaft belts. This is a camshaft bearing cap and it is fitted on the camshaft, and this is where a bolt for tightening a camshaft is fitted. This is also a camshaft bearing and is called a camshaft bearing, and its purpose is to prevent an excessive friction or to reduce wear between a camshaft bearing cap. That is its purpose, is to prevent an excessive friction or excessive wear between a camshaft bearings. This is an current pump, or what we call water pump, and it's located on an engine block of an engine, and its purpose is to supply current from a radiator to the engine for an engine efficient operating temperature. This is a thermostat, and it's located on the top of an engine, and its purpose is to allow hot current after engine reaches at the normal operating temperature to be returned to the radiator for cooling process. Its main purpose is to prevent a current from returning back to the radiator when engine is not at the normal operating temperature, and it allows a current to be returned to the radiator for cooling purpose when the engine is at the normal operating temperature. That is what a thermostat does on an engine. This is an oil filter, and it's located on the center block of an engine. Its purpose is to allow an internal moving parts of an engine to be lubricated with retarded oil. That is the purpose of an oil filter in an engine, is therefore removing the contaminant which could be in the oil, because as the moving parts of an engine moves one over others, it creates an dusties in the oil, and that is why an oil filter is there for removing those contaminants and preventing from reaching into the engine internal moving component. This is an oil pump of an engine, and as you see, this is a gelator pump type. In the next videos, we'll explain the different oil pumps used in a hydraulic system, but mostly oil pump used on cars engine are what we call rotary pumps, or what we call gelator pumps. The purpose of the oil pump in an engine to generate a pressure needed between lubricating system components. This draws an oil from an oil pan and sends it to the lubricating point of an engine. An oil pump carries oil from an oil pan to the important component of engine that needs lubrication. This is a crankshaft, and it is located on the bottom part of an engine. This is where a connecting rod of the pistons are connected, and it has many purposes in the engine. It provides a torque needed to the transmission system via a flywheel. This is what transfer torque produced from an engine during a power stroke to the transmission system until the power is being delivered to the wheels. It has another purpose. It generates rotary force and has the torque from the connecting rod, and it's a drive all accessories of an engine via its pulley. And a crankshaft, it drives all engine accessories through a different pulley that are connected on the crankshaft pulley, and it is where a flywheel is connected. This is a unity of the piston connecting and crankshaft together. This is a flywheel, and this component is connected on the crankshaft, and this flywheel, it provides the mounting brace of the clutch system. This is where a clutch system is connected. A clutch system receives an engine torque via a flywheel, and this is a hose on the flywheel. This is where a crankshaft bolts are connected, and this pins on the you are seeing on the flywheel. This is where a clutch cover assembly is being tightened. So what you have to keep in mind is that a flywheel, it has the two purposes. The first purpose, it used as an aid of starting system during starting, and it transfers an engine torque produced during combustion stroke or post-stroke to the transmission system until it being delivered to the driver wheels, and it has the purpose of damping the torsional vibration and prevent them from being transmitted the transmission system of the motor vehicle. This is what we call an intake manifold, and it's located on the cylinder head of an engine. Its purpose is to allow an air from an atmosphere to be admitted into the engine during induction stroke. These have the purpose of allowing the fresh air to be admitted into the engine during induction stroke. This is an exhaust system, and it has the purpose of transferring burned air and fuel mixture out of a vehicle through an exhaust system. The main purpose of exhaust manifold is to collect burn gases from multi-cylinder engine and collect it into the one pipe and transferring it to the tailpipe through an catalytic converter, through an exhaust pipe and other exhaust system until the burn gases is being set out of the vehicle. That is the purpose of exhaust system and how it works. So thank you for watching this video until on its end. Remember to make a subscribe if you like and to turn on the bell notification for continuing getting the videos that is being uploaded on this channel. Okay, thank you.